Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In this video today I'm going to show you how to create this Harley Quinn look from the new Suicide Squad film. I recently watched it and fell in love with the character. Margot Robbie is amazing, so I hope you all enjoy this tutorial. Let's get started. Taking my regular foundation, I'm applying this on the back of my hand and then lightly dotting it all over my face. I'm going for a really full coverage look in this video today, so I'm going to blend that into my skin and continue to layer it up until I get a nice flawless base. And as you guys can see, I didn't go too light with my foundation colour. Harley is quite pale, so I'm just going to add a bit more extra highlight. Taking some cream foundations, I'm going to highlight underneath my eyes quite heavy to get that pale look. I'm also going to apply this on the highest points of my face, down the centre of my nose, forehead, chin and cupid's bow. I'm using that as a primer as well, so I'm going to pack that on my eyelids and then blend all of that away with a beauty blender. To set that all in place, I'm going to bake and take a translucent powder. I'm going to densely pack that underneath my eyes and leave that to sit for about 5 minutes so it really soaks into the concealer and brightens it. Once the 5-minute period is up, I'm going to just set the rest of my face with the translucent powder and lightly brush away that bake. As you guys can see, it has really brightened those specific points in my face and I'm starting to look a bit more pale like Harley. Brushing through my brows, I'm then going to take my dip brow and start to fill them in. I define a really sharp line underneath the bottom of my brow and really carve out the tail. I don't apply any additional product onto my brush and just lightly use whatever I have left to fill in the top of the brow and give it a nice soft gradient. I'm then going to take a spoolie and lightly brush through the brow, and this is going to disperse the product and make it a bit more even and to sit nicer with my hairs. To clean up the brows, I'm taking my foundation colour and applying that along the top to really carve them out. I'm then going to take a really light concealer and apply that underneath the bottom of the brow. This is going to carve it out to make it nice and clean, and it's also going to act as a brow bone highlight to prep us for our eyeshadow. So to finish them off, I'm going to take a tinted brow gel. This is going to keep them in place, and because it's a dark brown colour, it's also going to separate the hairs a little bit and give it more texture to the brow. To contour, I'm taking a really warm matte bronzer and I'm going to apply that onto my cheekbones to heavily contour and sculpt my face. I'm also going to bring that across my hairline and my temples. This is going to warm up the face a little bit because we have quite a pale look going on. I don't want to look completely washed out. Having this really warm colour is going to counteract and give us a nice soft look. I'm also applying some contour onto my nose, which I don't do often, but for theatrical looks I always want them to be extra defined. I'm also taking a warm blush and buffing that into the apples of my cheeks to give myself some more rosy pink colours. Now, I am pretty sure that Harley isn't wearing highlight in the film, but I'm going to apply some anyways just because I can't live without it and it's probably going to get covered up, so I'm going to put it on because I want to. For the eyes, I'm taking a matte brown shadow and buffing that into the crease. This is going to be our transition shade from the red and the blue on both sides. I wanted to have this there as a nice soft way to blend out the shadows. I'm taking the red and packing that densely on the lid, cupping the lid and not bringing it above the crease. I'm also going to start working on the outer corner, creating more of a cat eye shape, then buffing that along my lower lash line about 3/4 of the way in because I'm still going to highlight that inner corner. Taking a blending brush with no product, I'm going to lightly buff out that red to give it more of a softer look, and then I'm going to start applying the red drips of shadow down the side of my eye. Now you can make this as big or small as you want, but because I'm doing Harley from the end of the film where she's quite messed up and really dirty, I'm going to make it very over exaggerated and very far down my face. Then taking a blue eyeshadow, I'm repeating the exact same steps on the opposite eye. The only thing I did differently was I made the drips not as intense because obviously if you were to smudge your face, it's not going to be perfectly symmetrical on both sides. Once that's all blended out, I'm taking some highlighter and popping that on the inner corner of my eyes to really brighten it up, and I'm going to blend that up into each colour to give it more of a soft gradient. Then I'm applying winged eyeliner. I'm not too sure if she has a wing in the film, but I know she has some sort of eyeliner on, so out of habit I'm just going to do mine like that. And to add a bit of extra glam, I'm applying some thick false lashes. I stacked I think 2 pairs on each eye to give it a real doll-eyed look. Then I'm taking some white eyeliner and popping that in my lower lash line to really open up my waterline and make my eyes look very large. After I've done that, I'm going to slightly top up the blue side a little bit just because I thought I didn't add enough. So this is what the finished eyes should look like. They should be very glamorous but still very grungy and very Harley. For my lips, I'm taking Jeffree Star's liquid lipstick in the shade Red Rum, and I'm going to apply that quite over exaggerated today. I wanted a very nice, very large pout. Once I've done that, I'm also going to smudge it. So I just used my finger and a bit of leftover lipstick that wasn't dried and smudged it down to give it that look. For Harley's face tattoos, I'm taking a fine detailing brush and black body paint, and I'm going to fill in the little love heart that she has on her cheek. Then I'm going to write the words rotten across her chin. It's angling down towards her lips in a very straight line. After I've got the face tattoos, I'm going to move on to the body paint portion of the video, starting out with her choker that says Puddin. I'm going to outline it and then outline the letters. To body paint the shirt, I'm starting out with red face paint and applying that in the shape of the collar around the necklace that I have. I'm then going to draw a straight line and fill the whole top of my shoulders in. Harley has some sort of a baseball shirt on and it has sleeves, so after I've painted on the top of the shirt, I'm also going to paint on like a t-shirt shaped sleeve, and then the rest of the sleeves are white, which I'll fill in later. After the red paint had completely dried, I then went in with the white paint just to make sure that I didn't get a mix of pink. In this video today, I'm actually wearing nipple covers for the first time, aka pasties. I just wanted to have a little bit more comfort knowing that I wasn't going to have a nip slip on my channel, and having a whole lot of extra room was really handy. So what I'm doing here is taking a sponge and creating that dirty gradient that she has, almost like a tie-dyed pattern between the white and the red portion of her shirt. I'm then going to take a fine detailing brush and a black body paint and start to fill in the letters Daddy's Little Monster. So it's quite difficult writing on yourself. I've said this many times before. Have a good reference picture below the area that you're painting, and you have to paint this backwards because you will be looking in a mirror. Usually when you take pictures though, it will flip it back to normal. So as you guys are seeing, this is normal, but I was painting it backwards. So I ended up painting it in capital letters because it was just too frustrating to do cursive. My apologies guys, I'm just kind of getting used to painting on my boobs. There's a lot of different curves that I'm not used to. So after I'm done with that, I'm going to move on to the sleeves. I'm taking more of that white paint and filling in the baseball style sleeves of her shirt. Let that dry and then do the 2 rows of red stripes that she has as well. That's going to be the cuffs of the sleeve. I painted that on both of my arms to finish the shirt off. Let that dry, and now it's time to move on to shading. Taking a black eyeshadow, I'm going to buff that around the collar of the shirt to give it a 3-dimensional shadow. I'm also going to start to apply creases in the shirt to give it more definition, to make it look like it's all crinkled up. Then I'm going to take a whole bunch of blue eyeshadows and start to apply that weird tie-dyed stain that she has on her left arm. Something's obviously gone wrong with her t-shirt and it's all dirty and messy. By the end of the film, I feel like Harley has been through a lot. I've seen plenty of reference photos where she's covered in dirt, so that's kind of what this tutorial is based off of. I'm using that same mixture of black and brown eyeshadow to give myself a real dirtied up face as well. She does have a cut. I'm going to do that after I pop on my wig, so continue dirtying yourself up until you're happy with it. Taking a gold paint, you will need to fill in the letters Puddin on the choker. The choker itself has some sort of a clear plastic that it's made out of, so you don't need to paint the background of it, but you can paint it if you like. Also, don't forget to go around and redefine the letters to make them look a little bit better, since I kind of really messily applied the gold cream paint. Next, I'm going to outline the collar of my shirt with that same black body paint and fine detailing brush. This is just going to separate it a little bit more and make it look like it's an actual t-shirt with a collar. Then I'm going to dirty up the rest of the shirt with some more black and brown eyeshadow to match the rest of the whole entire look, and that is pretty much the completed body paint. Now I'm just going to pop on a wig. So I'm flattening down the back of my hair by pinning it into like a flat bun. I'm going to pop the first part of my wig on. I got this wig off eBay I think, and it came in 2 separate pieces. So what I'm going to do is pin the Harley fringe, so I'm going to leave some pieces out at the front and pin the rest of the hair back. Now it actually came with these clip-on ponytails, and I hairsprayed them with red and blue hairspray from the party store. So it was really good because now I can have a blonde wig and I can have clip-on ponytails too. So I positioned them where I want them, and then I put the little scrunchies in, one red, one blue, and I shortened the wig as well by cutting it. So now I'm taking some red body paint and drawing on the little scratch that she has on her head and just applying some fake blood to finish it off. So that's it everybody, that is the end of my tutorial. I hope you all enjoyed my Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. To finish off the costume, I grabbed a bat and I actually painted that myself just using reference pictures from the internet to get it as close as possible to the real one. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget to also check out my Instagram and tag me if you recreate any of my looks at Bonnie.Corban SFX. See you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching.